How you doing, Crypto? Can you hear me, Crypto? Nice outfit. Like what you got going on here. There you go. Can you turn around? There you go. Keep turning. Perfect. Can you hear me? There we go.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Perfect.
Awesome. Dude, it took me like to connect and see here. I'm just so happy it's working.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're in a perfect spot. Don't move. Just maybe turn your avatar a little bit towards the stage, but besides that, you're in a good spot. I am going to go back to my desktop, though.
And then that would be that would then show the comic. But the key, the unlock to that would you buy an NFT and then you get that sent to you as part of the purchase of the NFT. And then once you've got it, the comic book or the access or whatever the locked data is just stored on that chip. So as long as you've got the physical, you've got access to the data in whatever form it is. And again, it means that the community's got access to it. We can get a model out that's affordable, and then we can get it out to the community and maybe make a deal at the same time, right?
Yeah, I agree, man. All right, man, I think we're going to get started here in just a minute, but let's definitely talk soon. I'll try to check with Prizem, see when he's free.
And, I just need it booked in my diary because otherwise I forget and get wrapped up into things.
Yeah, same here. Same here. As time goes on, it's just things just slip my mind a lot more, especially with the full-time job now.
You just get into so much, and then you just get wrapped into something, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I was supposed to be on a call 10 minutes ago.
No, here's the real question, Dave. Do you have Mario Golf?
Not the new version, but I have got Hole-in-One on the NES version stored on the NES cartridge at my dad's.
Okay, I have Mario Golf. I was just checking at each other.
I might need to get it on Switch, but I haven't picked up my Switch for like 9 months.
I know, same happens here. I'm actually looking forward to the new Pokemon games that are coming out at the end of the year.
That'll be Gen 8, right?
Season 9 or something. I think it's 8 or 9, yeah.
Oh, Gen 9, bloody hell.
Yeah, we're getting old.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
Hey, but we're still playing the game. Who cares?
Well, yeah, I mean, I really like Eevee and Pikachu. Like replaying the original game, but in a slightly different format was quite nice.
Yeah. I want to get a couple Switch games. I only have Mario Golf and Monster Hunter Rise. I played Monster Hunter since like PlayStation 1 back in the day. Good game.
No, I've got quite a few Mario games on there, so I've got like the latest version of Mario Galaxy, whatever that's called, and like Mario Kart.
Okay.
And, I'm just a little Mario geek, basically.
I still need to get Mario Kart. I don't know why I haven't yet.
It's the most frustrating
bring
game.
Bring your Mario Kart all the way over here, please. And please come on the stage. I don't know if Trog is going to come in here or not, but if Trog cannot make it, I would love to bring up Cynthia if she wants to come speak here today, if she's willing to come on the panel session.
What am I gonna talk about?
Everything. Your checkers. Your checkers.
Everything. You've been doing Twitter Spaces and helping with community, so I think we have an opportunity. We'd love to get you up here.
Whatever you guys need me to do, I'll entertain.
Okay, Crypto,
You're
first,
more than
can you get on stage? Crypto able to get on stage? Well, we're going to just wait for him to get back. Prizem, are you streaming? Okay, awesome, cool. Well, welcome everybody to the Polygon Showcase. This is our new part of the showcase. We call it the Metaverse panel session, where we talk to some of the community members in the Polygon space. And today's topic, what we're going to be talking about, is building an NFT community. Today, I'm joined by hopefully 3 or 2 here today with Mega Retro, Dave C. And today's topic is something that is a must if you are now coming into the space. If you're an artist, if you're a creator, no matter what aspect you are, it's important to have a community, or as other people say, network within this space. And networking could be challenging at times, especially with some of the things that are among you, some of the best practices. So today we are joined by our speakers here, and hopefully we have bring some value here today. We do have some questions for them, and then we're going to open up the floor to you guys to ask some questions. If you guys are watching live right now on YouTube, come in here, hop into the space, or drop your questions in the comment below. If you are here on social media, make sure you're using the hashtag Polygon Showcase and see what this event is all about. I do want to give a warm welcome to Mega Retro from Bone Potions. Mega, welcome. Can you kind of give an introduction about yourself real quick?
Yeah. So thank you so much for having us here again, man. I appreciate this. And a little bit about myself. I am an animator, illustrator, graphic designer. I just recently got a job with a Web3 company as a senior graphic designer on there. So I'm really excited about that job. I have my own project called Potent Potions, which is a comic book based NFT. So basically those who own the NFT get the comic book, or at least access to it. And yeah, so I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Dave, can you kind of give an introduction about yourself and who you represent in the NFT community?
Yeah, I'm sort of partner / co-creator / co-founder of Crypto Goons. And I've been driving our Polygon community for the last 7 or 8 months through Spaces and Polygon Alliance. So yeah, really excited to talk about how to encourage different people within the community to come together outside of a project, because it's been very exciting to do and to see.
Thank you. Crypto Animal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm like on multiple different.
No, we hear you perfectly,
can you guys
man.
hear me? Am I up here?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah, you're up there. We hear you perfectly. Can you give us a
Okay.
little bit of background about yourself and what you're doing within the NFT community?
Yeah, most definitely. So my background, basically I started off in crypto investing first and foremost, probably, beginning of the bull run, probably like real close to the beginning. I mean, Bitcoin was maybe 10K when I started in the space. And then, started moving forward, started learning about just as much things as I could. And I'm probably watching I feel like 10 hours a day of YouTube videos, different YouTubers, different things, just trying to learn the market as much as I could. Come across NFTs not too long ago, probably 9 months at this point. Started off, I was using Polygon DeFi That's like I had, felt like I missed out on the DeFi summer of 2020 with, Ethereum being a small player, not having a lot of funds, not being able to pay gas fees, things like that. So when Polygon mainnet launched, that's really what drove me to start using the Polygon blockchain and the network. And then after that, stumbling across just NFTs, I came across a project called the Freaky Project. I dove right into it. It was a one-matic mint, just having fun, just sniping up NFTs left and right on the Polygon network. And then, I started jumping into Dave and Beluga space. They basically, they were running the Polygon space. I mean, the biggest one, the only one that I could find, and it just seemed like a great place to jump into and start talking about the Freaky project because the owner was from Indonesia. He is from Indonesia, and he doesn't speak very good English, and he's sleeping during that time. It's like really late in Indonesia during that time slot, and so I just started jumping in and talking, about that project, and then. Met Ahmed and the Troglodyte Society by basically doing those spaces, jumping into their Discord, really liking their project, and obviously getting involved and investing in that project. And then then it became what it has become today, which is us running spaces and us really just pushing forward with the whole community as much as we possibly can, and trying to have a nice place and a nice space for people to come in, share projects, and learn as much as possible. Like we are constantly still learning. Obviously, I feel like everybody in here can attest to that. It's we're all so new, but yeah, just still just trying to constantly soak up as much knowledge and learn as much as we possibly can in this space.
Thank you, and you've done such a great job with the Trog Society, and even speaking on Twitter Spaces, and that's something that Dave will testament, because that's some of his vision that he had in the very beginning, is that we couldn't do this by our own. We have to support other on this, and that goes into my first question to each and one of you is, why is it important to build or to be a part of the NFT community? And I'll let Dave start off first.
Yeah, I think certainly on networks where there's a low price point, individuals come in with this dream of creating a future for themselves, the ability to sort of make an income or chase their artistic passion, and very quickly realize that it's very difficult to set up a brand on your own or to set up a business on your own, which is effectively what you're trying to do. You'll be missing certain skill sets. You won't have time to learn everything. There's a huge demand on you to be in all the different social areas. So the build or the vision was to create a support structure for a group of creators, Beluga and me, and to do that and to give a platform that didn't have any barriers. Like you didn't have to have 10,000 followers to come and speak on our spaces. It didn't matter if you were female. You'd get the same opportunity as anyone else. And just sort of starting to create that platform where people could learn to trust each other a little bit, learn to support each other, and build others up, and understand what the benefits would be for everyone from doing that. So I think that's the key to building for me, or what the vision was at the beginning.
I appreciate that. Now, Mega, the question to you goes back to you is, why is it important to build and be a part of the NFT community?
I think people are looking for just genuine leadership, people who are not looking to take advantage of them or to basically just take their money and kind of ditch. So like finding that is hard in the real world. And I feel like a lot of people in our community are just not necessarily that we're gatekeeping, but we're really trying to be very as cautious as possible as far as like our community, protecting the culture within our community, and making sure that each person that is new into it feels welcome, but also that they also have the information they need to have a successful project, or to get involved with other projects that can help them to keep things above board and to make sure that things are running well. I think that's why community is so important. At least a portion of it for myself.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And Crypto Animal, a question to you again is, why is it important to be a part of an NFT community? Oh, we might have lost him. Crypto, can you hear me?
There he is. He's there now.
Yep.
Crypto, can you hear us, Crypto? He's over there right in front of the stage, but he might be
I hear him. I
glitching.
see him. Well, we'll wait for him to come right back. I'm going to go to the next question. Now, Crypto, can you hear me?
I think he might need to restart. His microphone's not coming through.
Okay, we're going to go to another question and then we'll come back. Here's a question to you, Dave. What successful outcomes have you seen from being a part of the Polygon community space?
I mean, you can look to so many things. I class this event as one of the successful outcomes of being in this Polygon space. I'd call Troglodyte's success. I'd call numerous people about to hit 10,000 Twitter followers, all part of the success in this space. And then the maybe the more specific or things that we've achieved aside from you building events like this, ours is things like the Let's F Cancer charity auction, where we raised just under $3,000 in June for Let's F Cancer, driven by Polygon Alliance. We came together in March to put together an auction for the people of Ukraine at the very last minute, which raised over $1,000. So these events, I think, are testament to what we're able to achieve as a community.
Yeah, and I think we're going to start seeing more of those, like the community come together for a cause or for like a charity event.
Yeah, we started putting teams into place at Polygon Alliance for different things, and one of them is for charity events moving forward. So each one, like your events, is going to get more organized, it's going to get more efficient, it's going to get better for the artists, better for the people wanting to be included, and everything else. Really excited about where it goes.
Yeah, guys, everybody give a round of applause. The Polygon Alliance charity event, which you did with your community, was amazing. Great success. Crypto Animal, can you hear me?
Yes. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. Question for you is, what successful outcomes have you seen from an NFT community and building that?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like, basically being in this space and just watching the organic growth of a lot of these projects. I mean, we can look at, the top ones that come to mind for me are going to be, Beluga Bay, the Goons with Dave, Al's doing this stuff here. I mean, and then like the Troglodytes, and just what Dave is saying too. Like, I just see the more organized, the more organization that we get together, the better off we are. And I can just see, like Dave said, with the F Cancer charity, with the Ukraine, and then, with the Ukraine being the first one and then the F Cancer being the second one, you just see how much more evolved it got and how much better, organized and everything that it was. And it's just amazing. Obviously with the Troglodytes, our success has been coming in, and we've been really finding a lot of strong community members that are really believing in us, really believing in what we're about and what we're doing. I had somebody purchase I went into a space the other day and was just talking it up, and it was part of the NFT Collective, Killer Season there, Jacopo, a couple of these others, and then the Cannaman. And the Cannaman went in and bought 100 trogs, just minted 100 trogs right there off the rip, just because of the story. He had heard of us, but hadn't quite heard the details, about what Ahmed's trying to create here. And so, it's just crazy. Like things like that. It's just like, when you have a project, when you have projects that are getting organized and organically growing and bringing in organic following and people, and you can tell the genuineness of the people, especially everybody up here on the stage. You can just tell, that these are the people you want to surround yourself with. These are the projects you want to see continue to build and grow and succeed. And, we can help each other by, just giving that support.
Man, yeah, and I think a lot of that comes from being a part of the community. Now, for you three that have kind of built your own communities and are helping others, like, say that you are a new artist, right? What is like the first thing you should tell them, or what advice would you give them to be a part of a community, or how to like become a leader in a community pretty quickly? Because you guys have been able to do that within your own and the bigger scope of Polygon. Mega, I'll start with you first.
Yeah, I would say honestly, I've seen a lot of the different people within here too, like become leaders within this community because they first off started to attend Twitter Spaces, which is an amazing place to do so. So definitely try to find some Twitter Spaces you can really be a part of to kind of get to know them, and even if it's just to be a regular person that's listening in, definitely will help your journey to be able to learn. But then also becoming familiar with others and others becoming familiar with you within a space. It's not that you advertise within that space, but once you start doing your own space, then you can start to potentially have some of those people hop in there. You can invite them to talk, open floor discussion. And I feel like it just starts there, where you can provide some sort of value to those who are listening in. So I would say for those who are jumping into this new, maybe you don't know much about NFTs, Twitter Spaces will be a great place for you to ask whatever questions you might have. And then also, I mean, I feel like it's at any level too, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been in it for a while. I feel like many questions are welcome to being asked. And I would say also another thing is, I know it gets tempting too for a lot of people, but keeping some very controversial topics out of the conversation, at least in the public eye, will be very beneficial for you, because then you can actually talk with the person privately. Like I always tell people, like, if you're really trying to convert somebody to believe what you believe, I think a private conversation is almost the best scenario, because you're able to really get deep and intimate in your conversation, understand and listen to them, where in a Twitter space, it might come across as, and you're just trying to tell somebody they're wrong and that's it, and kind of ditch. So that's why I'm always trying to be careful with the way I approach it, the way I talk, and the different topics we talk about.
Awesome. Now, question to you, Crypto Animal, is what advice would you give someone that's trying to join a community or build their community in the space right now?
Now, I really think, I think Mega Retro hits it on the head. I mean, we all up here at we host spaces. And Twitter spaces are really right now kind of I feel like the lifeblood of, the NFT community. So, building up, being able to get in and really find spaces that are welcoming, that are out there to give great advice, and to basically allow anyone and everyone a chance, to come up and speak, and then also just really focusing in on what you want to bring. What are you trying to bring to the NFT space? Are you a one-of-one artist that's just trying to basically sell your one-of-one art? Are you trying to come up with an actual project with utilities behind it? Are you going to use, and not even, even one-of-one artists can use utility, and that can be their art, right? Like I get customizable pieces all the time, whether I purchase or whether, they're gifted to me, and it's one of those things that I love to death as a collector and investor first and foremost. So I really think just basically finding out what you're trying to bring, and then finding spaces, and finding like-minded individuals and projects that are doing the same, and then just reaching out to people that you hear in spaces for collaborations. If you like someone's art, don't be afraid to tell them on Twitter, even in a comment, and say, hey, like, I want to work with you. I want to see what we can do together. What can we create together? Things like that. I think those are, some important things for sure.
Thanks, and I appreciate that. That's a great answer, and that's how you start networking within a community and start building. Now, Dave, I'm going to ask you a different question. Is now that we're seeing the NFT
Can I just
community
add
grow.
something to that?
Oh, is that Trog?
Yeah, sorry, I've been here all that time. I just can't move around.
Oh
It keeps
man,
kicking me out.
come up on stage, man. Come join
You're on
us.
stage, bro.
Yeah, where
I
have you been at?
Yeah, It'll kick me out. I'm here, but it keeps kicking me out when I keep.
He's
moving
here in
around.
spirit.
I'm on the laptop.
He's in the force.
Well,
Yesterday.
no worries, no worries.
Just to touch on what you just
want-
said, in
Go ahead.
in terms of new artists coming in, just to touch on that, one of the things I'll say is build your community, support others, believe in your art, join other spaces like you guys are talking about, but not just join them, support others that's there, get to know people. But for me, the number one thing is actually believing in your art and believing in what you want to do. There's a lot of people who we've spoken to who have almost given up. Literally, that one of the for me the biggest success stories is a Cute Snake who came in our space. He met in our Discord, and this young man literally was about to give up because he was going in other spaces that was telling him his art wasn't good enough or this is not good enough. And we basically just spoke to him, and now he's almost nearly 5K followers. He's almost sold out his first collection, and he's just growing and supporting others, and now he's bringing people into spaces and supporting them and growing as well. So yeah, be the number one fan of your art.
I love that, and it's funny. I have a story for you guys too. Is that we had this artist that was from a different country, and I saw him kind of bouncing around on Twitter Spaces until he found the Mega Creative Show, and he came up there, and I think Mega and I really kind of dove into his project, and immediately we found he had some broken links within his artwork, and then the next day he was able to sell artwork. But it took him time to find the right community and time to bounce around to get someone to listen to him or provide value for him. So for you guys that are a part of communities or feel like, hey, this is not the right one, still open up the doors and have an open mindset to also meet other people. Don't be closed-minded, because there's actually a lot of individuals that are out there that are amazing, that are waiting to connect with you and to work with you. So when building a community, always have an open-minded to support people, and don't just be closed off and say, hey, these are just my 4. No, there's many other people that can bring you value along the way. Dave, question to you. As a community member that's been here for the last, I guess, year building on the Polygon space, what are the biggest challenges that you see in this space as a community leader?
Communication is our biggest challenge, and the fact that none of the platforms that we use are fit for purpose for what we need. So Twitter is useful, but is lacking severely in terms of DMs, in terms of other things. Discord is great if you want to be a centralized place for your own information and you don't care about anyone else. My personal opinion about Discord, let's not go down that route too far. Then you look at things like Reddit, which you need to have a very specific model to be successful on Reddit. Instagram is all on TikTok. It's all about short, snappy videos. Content and how people review it changes all the time, and we end up competing with each other a lot in terms of what we're trying to do in the Polygon community. So I think the communication channels need to be a little bit better. We can do better at supporting each other as a bigger group. Some of the challenges we've got with that is that we're all self-involved, and I don't mean that we're all selfish. I mean that we're all thought leaders, that we've all got our own passions, our own desires, that we all want to drive our projects because we think they're going to be amazing. And I think that can take away from us communicating effectively with each other, so that we can maximize the opportunities that we're creating as a community. Right now, we've got combined hundreds of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands. Beluga and me are not far from 50K by ourselves. So like there's a massive opportunity that we're missing that we need to get better at as a community, but it'll come. It will happen. It's just going to take a little bit of time for us to understand how to communicate in a better manner.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. I can agree with that, and I think that's why we're using Spatial. That's why we're using Slack and all these different applications, because everybody communicates differently. But it's how do we communicate consistently and clear every single time for us to get the outcomes that we're trying to deliver within a community? Is it to uplift people, or is it to welcome people, or is it to support somebody in a creative way or an emotional or mental way? So I think that that's a challenge for us in all generations. Now, Mega, for you too, what are some challenges that have you seen in the community where you've seen someone that doesn't fit the community and it's trying to maybe creating FUD, but maybe is not supportive of the community as they once were before?
Can you rephrase the first part of that question? So that person that might butt on things, what was?
Like some of the challenges that you see within the community where you've seen some members that have been really supportive and then they're not supportive as they were before. How do you bring them back?
Yeah, I feel like anyone who talks down about anything, for the most part, right? There are some exceptions. Anybody who talks down about something like, for instance, Web3 or NFTs, it's not, in my mind, I try to view it as it's not that they're trying to be malicious. It's more so they just don't really understand the full capacity and value of what it brings. And so maybe they're just not ready to really accept it at that moment. Maybe they prematurely jumped in without really learning the ups and downs. I feel like a lot of people that might have came in, like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and that are gone now. Maybe we're just looking for a quick flip. Let me kind of roll the dice and see if I, become a millionaire off of this one project. And it's literally probably rarer than winning the lottery. And those stories are sensationalized, and I feel like just the same thing with any kind of relationship. If you watch these Instagram influencers and in their relationships, it looks like it's heavenly and nothing's wrong, but then when you look behind the scenes, everything is crumbling. And I just feel like there's a false representation a lot of times within the news, within media, that says that either NFTs are the devil or you'll become a millionaire. It's one or the other. There's no like in between. Like you got to work your way up to it. And so I feel like as us in the community, each one of us that are here, I think it's our responsibility to really ground people and help them to realize, hey, you can make money from this. You can make a living from this, but it will take some blood and sweat. It will take some tears sometimes putting into it. And maybe you'll be lucky and get that big break, where somebody notices it or you get the right connection, the right network, things just work out for you. That's awesome. But for the majority of people, 99% of people, you're going to have where you're going to be working hard, you're working your butt off, and it's not going to be easy, but it's what you want to do. And so I feel like those who leave are those who maybe either weren't cut up for it or just misunderstood what was really the cost. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. I mean, it allows them to come back and forth. But as we're growing, Trog, question to you, as you're growing within the community, and how do you decide as a community to start like passing on roles and start saying, hey, can you start leading the metaverse? Can you start doing this? When did you decide, or when did you start asking for help for people to help you kind of build what you're doing, Trog?
So to be 100% honest, I've not asked people. People have reached out because I never want to be a burden on support. I never want to put that sort of responsibility onto people. People have reached out and asked how can they support and how can they help. And I said, if you really want to support and help, this is what, and I'll tell them my full plan, full transparent, and I explain to them this is what I want to do and this is why I want to do it. If you can help with this, what would you need help with? So it's always a two-way street. It's never just me just saying, okay, I need help with this. Okay, what can I help you with? What can I do for you? What's your goals? And to be honest, any people that we do support, any people that we are working with, they have to be fully docs, because I don't want to promote someone who is going to end up being a rug pull or anything like that. So we know each other, we've got each other's numbers, or we each other where we've seen each other's faces and things of that nature. But that's how it came around in terms of the 12-hour spaces we started doing. I explained to people I wanted to reach out to the other communities we never get to see because I'm at work 12 hours a day. So there's a whole community that we never get to see. And so that's what we started out doing, the 12 hours. And then we got, I think, like 8 to 10 people who support us doing that. But it's always been people just believe in what we're doing and have reached out. And then we said, okay, if you're going to do this for us, what can we do for you? How can we support you and help you grow as well?
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty that you've seen in the NFT community is that people just volunteer to help or support and say, hey, I'll help you with this checklist here. I'll help you with this and getting events together. And that's something that I think is really special within this page. Now, Dave, question to you, Mega and Crypto Manimal and everybody here on the panel. I want you guys to answer this question is why do you think it, or why do you see what type of power do you see when 2 NFT communities come together and do an event or do a charity event together or do some type of collaboration together?
I could start it if you don't mind. Honestly, I feel like I was just telling part of this to Dave just a moment ago before we came up here is I was very defensive towards the start, even like just sharing anything about myself. The more I got to know certain people like Owls, Dave, and many others in here, the more I started to open up and realize, hey, they're not out to just help themselves. Like, yeah, they want to succeed, but they're also willing to help me out in my journey as well. And so I would say the more that I realize that, the more that I'm like, why am I not doing community events? Why am I not getting involved with other projects and what they're doing? Why am I basically just hoarding it all to myself? And so, as I mentioned before, thanks to BDK on my staff for helping set up those different events and whatnot, like with Beluga Bay. And if anybody's interested, I'm definitely open to it now. But if you asked me a month or 2 ago, I might not have the same mindset. But I'm very grateful that my mind changed about it, and I'm able to see the benefits of our communities colliding and really just help people in their journey as well. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Dave, to you.
Yeah, I think the communities coming together enables you to cross over skill sets, enables you to fill gaps and be better. Something I say a lot is together we are more, and we really are. We can't do everything by ourselves. There's so much. So having those crossover communities fills areas that we need as a Polygon community. So look at some of the music people coming in that are able to maybe add music to your NFTs or the game that you've just released, for example. If it wasn't for being open and being willing to meet with new communities, we wouldn't have these opportunities where someone like Jay has submitted a 3-minute track for Crypto Goon's new game. So yeah, there's massive value to be open to new communities and to meeting new people. Just a couple of examples. I'm speaking to someone on AVAX about an Avalanche community that's similar to what we're doing in Polygon, and there's someone, Lily, I can't remember her surname, but she's made something called Tez Town on Tezos, and we're communicating about how we can bring value to each of our communities through Polygon and Tezos as well. So it's something that I'm always pushing and advocating for, and I think it's how we grow as a community. We need to push these boundaries. We need people like Owls to be meeting new people outside our community. We need people like me to be going to find similar communities in other blockchains to grow our ability to reach new markets and to reach new collectors and to onboard new people to Web3.
Man, love that answer. And it doesn't matter what blockchain you're on. We're all in this together. And we all have to kind of understand that moving forward to support each other. Now, Crypto Manimal, that goes to you. Anything you want to add to that question is what is the power of 2 communities joining?
Yeah, most definitely. I think Mega and Dave, I mean, hit the nail on the head for sure. But like whenever you see this cross collaboration between communities, you're hitting you're organically grabbing, more people to see about your project, what you're about. So it's not completely altruistic, but you're basically just helping each other create, more buzz around each other's projects. Whether that be like a cross, giveaway, or whether it be like an actual, hey, we've come up with this, art together. Like it's a mixture of our two arts. I know Viber, OX Viber does a lot of that, where he, he basically like creates with another artist and they have different pieces together in a new collection, but it ties into their own projects. And I feel like that's really, really important and beneficial. And I love what Dave said about, the other blockchains like the AVAX communities, the Tezos communities, the Cardano communities. I say it all the time in this space. There's people out there with Tezos bags, Polygon bags, Ethereum bags, Solana bags. They're looking to spend. They're looking for NFT projects. There's people out there, and so even if you can cross blockchain collaboration. Even if you can't maybe be compatible with each other and be in the same whatever, but at the same time you can still be bringing more of that market to your community too, and you're bringing value. I think whenever you are open to kind of collaborating and joining up with others, just basically it looks really good to your community. It looks like you're really pushing, and like I said, it just captures the rest of that market and brings it to you. So yeah, perfect.
Thanks, man. Trog, can you still hear me? Are you still up from the heavens?
I'm here.
Trog Society, can you hear me? Okay, I'm gonna.
Can you
Ahmed.
hear me?
Yeah,
Ahmed, can you hear me?
Oh.
Yes, Ahmed.
Yeah, I can hear
Man,
you. Yeah.
question to you: what we were talking about? What is the power that you've seen when you've seen communities join together, especially with what you're doing with your project? What are some outcomes that you've seen when two communities come together?
Okay. For me, I'll be honest with you. I heard what Mega said, and for me, I'm very cautious when joining with another community because they have to have the same ethos, the same mindset. For me, it's very scary sometimes, and this is why I like to do a lot of research because you don't know the other person's intentions. You don't know if they're a rogue project, and obviously, what's been going on lately in spaces. I think if it's like, for example, what Dave, I'll use Dave and Beluga, for example, the spaces that they had, them combining together, that is such a powerful force that so many people, including ourselves, and so many other communities that's grown from, that's built from that. Like that's what they built was such a perfect example to that question and how amazing it was. Them two coming together and creating spaces has joined majority of the people now you see who are here. Because that's where I met you from. That's where I met Mega from. That's where I met Skirpy. That's where I met all these people from. That's where I met Crypto Manimal from. So that just shows the impact of what two communities who had the same ethos and the same mindset right there. So yeah, when you get it right, it's brilliant. But yeah, I'm not going to use an example of another community.
And I think today, as we're sitting here, we're listening. This is a testament of building an NFT community. This is the testament of creators, innovators, people that are out here doing different things from different communities, getting a chance to interact or engage in a new platform in a new way. And I think when you introduce new communications, new technology, and you involve your community in different aspects while providing value, I think you're going to see amazing outcomes where we're going to see different communities that are going to be built in the Web3 space or in the Metaverse. And you're going to see 30 of them or 20 of them together rolling deep, and you're going to see them and us together, because I'm sure there's another Creative Owls out there and we have yet to meet him or yet to meet their community. So I think as we continue building, we're going to get that opportunity to innovate like that in the future. So we've got one more question to ask some of the panel speakers, and then we're going to have some questions for you guys. The first one is to Dave. Dave, you've started the whole trend of Twitter Spaces for a lot of us here. What can you advise people that are starting to build their own NFT community within their own Twitter space, and what type of things as a host should they be doing?
I think that anyone needs to do in this space, whether it's Twitter Spaces, whether it's their project or their artwork, is really understand what your individual drivers, values, ethics, or motivators are, and what you want to kind of achieve. When you know that, you can then wrap that into everything you do. For me, I want to build people up. I want to show care. I want to show compassion, consideration, empathy, kindness, love, and trust. And therefore, putting those values, no matter what the risks are, wrapping those values into Crypto Goons, into Polygon Alliance, into the spaces that I host, is super important to building the right people behind that brand, if you like, or those values to push the community forward. And I think if you show off your values in that way, then you'll call like-minded people to you, and like-minded people will, like, that strength will come quicker from that. In terms of professionalism on spaces, I think clarify what your spaces is up front for people coming in. Is that your project? Questions. Is it a shill space? Is it a shill space that isn't a shill space? Is it a networking space? What does it happen to be? And then stick to those rules yourself. If you're gonna tell people they can't interrupt you, then don't be interrupting people. Little things like that make a massive difference, and understand your format before you go in. So maybe practice an introduction or a close down, or your resets if you're going for more than half an hour or an hour. Simple things that make a big difference to the room and give people an understanding all the way through. You're telling them what's happening, so it's easier for them to follow along.
And I'm telling you guys, you've heard it from the best here. This is how I got into Twitter Spaces. This is how I got comfortable communicating to artists, is through Jay's space and learning from him and what he's taught here, and us helping us build our own community. So thank you, Dave, for leading the way. And Mega, the question is also to you too.
Can you restate the question again, please?
Yeah. For you as a community member, what are some things that you recommend for people to do if they want to start off? I asked Dave for him maybe just do Twitter Spaces. Now, what about like in Discord or building your community there? Can you answer something like around that?
If it's about Discord, my mind has changed a lot over the past 6 months. I would say if you're going to do anything to like Discord, keep it as simple as possible. I'm trying to cut out as many channels and things as possible in my Discord. I would say maybe at the most like 5 to 6 different channels, maybe 2 voice channels. And that's great to start with. And just leave it there. And then like maybe half of those channels are actually just stuff for those who are new to it, frequently asked questions. Maybe you have your Twitter linked to it so they get that information and some news and stuff like that. And so trying to keep it as simple as possible is a great place to start from. The same thing happens like when you're selling any kind of merch. This isn't necessarily about merch, but I'm just using this as an example. You would think that the more options you have as far as t-shirt colors would make more sales, but the truth is research shows that it actually creates more analysis paralysis and you make less sales. So making smaller options but more intentional and deliberate with your direction is going to really help your project be a lot more readable and understandable for those who are coming into it. So think about yourself. If you just started off and then you hop into Discord, you never use Discord, and now there's like 30 channels, or maybe you have the main channels, which is cool if you can afford that, right? That time that goes into it, but maybe none of them are being used. Then you have to start reevaluating, and that's what I had to do with mine. I had so many channels that I had to just start killing off. As far as Twitter goes, I had to pick and choose and be very picky with what DM groups I'm in, because mentally I'm just like, this is way too many groups to be in, It's like, oh, someone just started up. Someone's rebooting. So I would say, like, just being mindful about your mental health, what you can take in, what you can work off of, and as much as we don't want to ruffle any feathers or make somebody upset with us, most people in this space are okay and understand, hey, if they can't be in this DM group, they can't be in it. If they can't be in your Discord, they can't be in it. It's cool. There's no pressure. And so, but the thing is, you're still making it available if that's what you want to really portray. Now, real quick about that is, I would say if I was going to sum this down, what I'm saying to one phrase, it's just don't bite off more than you can chew. When I first started with my project, I had all these different utilities, and thinking about it, I'm like, man, that's like a multi-million-dollar production that I'm talking about for this whole thing going on with my project Potent Potions. And I had to really think about it and scale it back, and then not kick those things off of my list, but just have a set time down the road for them. That's what I work towards. It's not something where I'm just going to push out something and just have a lot of something in quantity, and then I pretty much just mess up my quality. Your quality should be number one, what you're producing here and what you're bringing forward. I would rather a collection of 10 pieces that were highly thought into and a lot was poured into them and really made right. I would rather one utility that was really thought out and really executed well, rather than a bunch of utilities or a 10,000 piece project. I would rather have quality over quantity. I feel like a lot of people in this space feel that way too.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Crypto Animal, the question to you is pretty much my last question I have for you is, how can someone start helping their community now? Is it volunteering, or is it just supporting with a retweet, or just asking them questions, or maybe looking over their profile? What are some things that you recommend?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, if you're involved in a community, I think, getting out there and whatever you have the time to do for something you believe in, I think is something that's super important to make known to the people that are running that community, and let them know, like, hey, like an example for us was Misfit Riders. She came in and started coming into our spaces and met the troglodytes and was really passionate about what we were doing. And we had one of our live events, and she took all of the video footage and like took it and created a concise YouTube video, for the Troglodyte Society. And, she just asked, on that, like, hey, can I do this? Can I help you with this? Because this is what I used to do. Like, this is what I've done in the past. Like, it was my in real life jobs, was doing these types of things. And, she basically just offered it up. And, obviously we said, we would love that. Like, and it was just amazing. And then now we've got a couple, some other people like Darkest Abstract, who's actually going to be at the NFT Expoverse in San Diego, I believe. And he actually won a full-on booth. And he's going to be not only talking about himself, but he's bringing trogs. And he's going to be talking trogs, at the NFT Expoverse. And this is somebody that's he's not on our team. Like, he's not like a member of the Troglodyte team officially, but he's a member of our community and believes in what we're doing. And he's literally bringing that. He's going to be bringing that to people in real life. So if you are, if you're part of a project that's not necessarily your project, I think that you can definitely just lend a hand. I had somebody reach out to me to make a promotional video for them, because they saw one that I made for Trogs and they liked it, and they asked me if I could do that for them, and so it's, doing things of that nature, whatever your skill sets are. If you think you can add value, reach out and let it be known that, hey, I can do this, and maybe maybe it's something big, and maybe there's monetary benefit, maybe you can monetize that, if there's a potential, but it's not necessary, you know what I mean? At the same time, it just kind of depends on exactly what you're going to be doing and what kind of skills you are offering. But those are just some examples that I have.
That is a great point. You don't have to sell to support. You can just retweet or just talk about other people's projects and connect people together in that way. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Mega. Thank you, Trog. Thank you guys for being here today and taking part of this first panel session. If you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask. But Dave, thank you, Mega, Retro, Animal, and also Trog Society for you guys being here today and just speaking about community and building.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for putting all of this together. Like, guys, like, clap for like, let's give Creative all of the claps that we can give him for putting things like this on. Like, this is amazing. Like, you know, I mean, it's fantastic. So just thank you so much, Creative, for doing these things and inviting us.
Thank you, guys. But we have another panel session, so I'm going to turn on spatial audio so you guys can have some chats, get to network, get to speak with some of these speakers, ask some questions, and let me know. We will start here in the next 10 minutes with our next. Actually, our next session is at 3:30, I think.